Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Paul, I hope listeners realize you have links to the documents, public statements by the people and the foundations that literally set all this up. They admit it's a fraud. They admit it's a scam. They admit it'll kill billions, starve billions. This is their operation. And there's no doubt about this. So all the environmentalists need to understand the GMO and things like that that are real threats to humanity and the environment, that's all going ahead. Carbon dioxide is something that the Earth needs. Please continue. Go back to that Haas quote.
Yeah, this was in a Club of Rome report, the first global revolution, 1991. He stated, quote, "State sovereignty must be altered in a globalized era, that a system of world government must be created and sovereignty eliminated in order to fight global warming as well as terrorism. Moreover, states must be prepared to cede some sovereignty to world bodies if the international system is to function." So there you have them admitting in their own writings that it was essentially seized upon as a phony crisis for the purposes of crafting their world government system. I mean, even as recently as last year, March 2007 Trilateral Commission meeting, we wrote a report about this at the time. You had the Peter Sutherland, the chairman of British Petroleum, an oil company, obviously, and the director of N.M. Rothschild and Sons, urging the rest of the elite in the speeches that they gave at that conference to seize upon global warming to institute new worldwide control measures, which again, you know, it contributes towards the same global government agenda of crafting those worldwide systems of control.
And then they say in summation, though, in those quotes, that it is then to wage war on humanity. This is neo-feudalism.
Yes, because the first quote was, "In searching for a new enemy to unite us, we came up with the idea that pollution, the threat of global warming, water shortages, famine, and the like would fit the bill. All these dangers are caused by human intervention. The real enemy, then, is humanity itself." So it's divide and conquer again.
And now we have the Queen of England doing stunts where she won't fly somewhere and announce it, saying it's for the Earth, or Prince Charles and saying, we've all got to pay new taxes, and they're going to use that to build their world government. Folks, this isn't just about stopping a scam or stopping a tax. They want to use this money to build world armies, the secret police squads. They openly want the world government to then orderly kill you. Okay, they're doing it through the water, through the food, but they want to get right down to lining you up and shooting you and throwing you in mass graves. We're not joking. They get up and say, there's no plan for a world government. Doesn't matter if I'm the chairman of the CFR. I'll publicly write books saying I want a world government, but when you say I want one, I'll say you're a kook and the media will laugh at you.
Exactly, and the propaganda that's pushing this is so intense. I don't know how bad it is in America, but in the UK, you watch television, basically every other advert talks about being green, and it's all being used as an advertising ploy. You've got soap powder ads, you've got laundry powder ads talking about how turning down your thermostat will help global warming be cured, and it's everywhere. And we have to sit and watch Shell Oil on a commercial in the UK lecturing us about global warming. Shell Oil. So, I mean, don't people see something wrong here if, you know, they tell us that carbon controls are going to stop the dirty oil men from polluting the planet and making vast profits, then, you know, why are those same oil men promoting the global warming propaganda?
Because all it is, in their own documents, is a tax that'll go directly to them.
Exactly. The same people created the peak oil scam in the 50s when they said that, you know, apparently the last drop of oil would have been produced, what was it, about 7-8 years ago now. We've already passed that point. And it was, again, the same people, the same oil companies.
Well, it's part and parcel of all this. They just push the same agenda, and they've bound it into the 9/11 truth movement. They bound it into liberal movements. conservative movements and people just like it's a religion say don't question it. Folks, you better go read the documents.
Exactly. For most people who attach themselves to it, from what I can see, having lived with some of them and been around them, and, you know, my brother's been around these kind of people as well, it's just an ego thing. It's self-importance, and they don't know what's really behind it. So you've got an army of misinformed people who are pushing this and getting their dictates from transnational oil companies and elitists like the Queen and the Rothschilds.
We'll be right back. We'll get into professors saying big money behind global warming propaganda. We'll talk about the Queen and a lot more. Stay with us. I love my family. And as an extension of that, I love all of humanity. I just want to see con artists and crooks punished. When you have hundreds of pages of Club of Rome, CFR, Bilderberg, CFR openly says they want to scrap the dollar by design to bring in the Amero, and then Fox News says we're conspiracy theorists. It doesn't exist when it's at CFR.org, officially put out by them, not just a paper, but their official policy. To know that they openly talk about how they're going to control every aspect of our life, bureaucrats ruling over us, the animal ID, the premises ID, where you make one wrong move, they take your farm or ranch, you basically sign control of your land over to them. Not even a law, they just threaten you and tell you sign it, you sign it. To know all of this is coming into place, and the more taxes, the more funds they get, the more they're going to use it to control us. They're arming all the different forestry service and BLM with automatic and semi-automatic weapons. They're running around harassing everybody. It's just a reign of terror. And it's a new religion. They've brainwashed millions of college students who openly walk around saying we've got to get rid of the majority of people. We've got to kill 80%. I mean, I had Dr. Pianka's graduate students sending me threatening emails showing me, you know, links to, oh, you don't like Pianka saying kill 90. Well, here's a link to my PhD. I say all of us need to be killed, every human. And they're going to be your cops, your social workers. They're going to run all this, and the elite absolutely love it. And yes, Paul, it's not just in England. It's here, too. Let's finish up talking about their grand agenda. They're saying if you add on to your house in the U.S. or England or Europe, they're going to inspect it and give you taxes, what type of windows you have, taxes on every road with transponders, all roads to be toll roads. That's official 10 years ago. Now it's being announced. So that also tracks and traces you. But yeah, talk more about this Carnegie situation, because here it is. You've got links to their own document where they're saying zero carbon dioxide footprint. Well, humans exhale that. See, we are the enemy. We are the scourge. Folks, you understand what this means, and I'm going to say it again. Dumping nickel, cadmium, and lead and toxic waste and things that you can't even imagine right into the ocean. All the things that they're doing. The genetic engineering already spreading, already taking over other species, already invading other plants, causing massive problems. These are life form combinations that have never existed. You know, there are hundreds of real environmental problems, but you'll find out it's the big globalists that are behind it all. They don't even care about the environment. It is a total con job. Now, again, they brainwash you with legitimate-sounding environmentalism for decades. Then they come in with their solution once you're sold, and they say it's carbon taxes. Paul, comments?
Well, what I find interesting, as you've documented, is the link to population reduction, because you look at the quotes from these ecologists from the 60s and 70s, when, of course, the global cooling phenomenon was in vogue then, because, as we know, the Earth goes through cycles of heating and cooling throughout history, which is proven. And at that point, it was going through a cooling period post 1940 to 1975, which was coincidentally when, you know, carbon emissions were increasing at a rapid rate, proving the link is non-existent, that carbon lags behind temperature increase, as is also proven by the ice core samples. But then you had people like Paul Ehrlich, who was a German scientist who, like Mr. Al Gore, won the Nobel Peace Prize, And he was saying things like, in 1968, he said, in 10 years, in 1969, sorry, in 10 years, all important animal life in the sea will be extinct. Large areas of coastline will have to be evacuated because of the stench of dead fish. And that was supposedly because we were about to enter this new ice age. In 1971, Reed Bryson in Global Ecology, Readings Towards a Rational Strategy for Man, said, the battle to feed humanity is over. In the 1970s, the world will undergo famines. Hundreds of millions of people are going to starve to death in spite of any crash programs embarked upon now.